I asked myself the same question for over a decade. Why can't I stop watching porn? And it wasn't until I understood these 6 reasons did I begin to experience real freedom. Not just streaks of sobriety, but real freedom. The first reason that I couldn't stop was because I was focusing on willpower alone. Imagine this. You watch porn, you masturbate, and right after that you're like, right, this is the last time I'm ever going to do this. I make a promise with myself that on today's date, I'm going to stop watching it. This is the last time. And you might last for a day, 2 days. You've got your fist up. You're ready to run away, to pounce, to attack, whatever. Any urge, any temptation. And you've got your guard up. But as time goes on, you begin to feel tired and worn out. And your willpower just loses some of that sting. Until eventually, you give up. And you give in. And you go on social media, or you go onto Pornhub, and you watch it again. You watch porn again. So I didn't understand that willpower alone doesn't help. I just kept going, repeating the same thing over again, trying harder, trying harder, trying harder. And when you give up, when you give in, you think that I'm such a bad person, I can't stop. And you begin to feel a lot of shame and guilt. And the cycle just repeats. And you feel like you're on this loop and you can't help it. That leads into my second point. You don't understand why you're going to it. There were certain emotions I was feeling, certain things I was experiencing that I didn't know at the time, but I was avoiding. I had a lot of anger, I had a lot of hurt, and the reason I went to porn was to numb those feelings. And it wasn't until I understood that's probably one of the main reasons, one of the biggest things I understood, once I understood, was because about numbing, that I finally began to experience healing. Like I said in the first point, porn is just a symptom. The real issue is what we're trying to numb. These emotions, these deep feelings, these hard feelings that we weren't taught how to deal with growing up. And we just try to avoid them by going to porn. Point number 3 is that I was fighting attraction and not objectification. So, because I was on guard all the time, the waters became muddy and I was comparing, or I was putting attraction in the same boat as objectification and lust. And imagine this scenario. You're sitting in a coffee shop and you notice this really attractive woman walk past. And she's the most attractive person you've seen, or she's just really attractive. And your first sort of unconscious reaction is to look away, to try to avoid her, don't think about her. And what you've just done is you have brought objectification into the same sentence as attraction. I didn't realize that attraction was fine. I used to think that if we just lived in a world without women, that I'll be able to be free from porn, from lust, from objectification. But I didn't realize that beauty in other people is normal and natural. And as guys, it's natural for us to find women attractive. And it didn't click with me, I guess, that just noticing someone's attractiveness and moving on with your day is fine, it's healthy. So what I began to do is whenever I notice someone's attractive, I would just take a breath, and under my breath, or even in my mind, I'd say, wow, she's attractive. And just let it go, breathe out, and that feeling of tenseness, of this is dangerous, just began to dissipate. And I could just move on with my day. And she was allowed to keep walking. What I thought was objectification, what I thought was lust, was simply the normal, natural feeling of attraction. Objectification and lust is where you take it a step further, where you think something along the lines of, I wonder what she looks like with less clothes on. I wonder what it would be like to have sex with her. I wonder. Or you begin to undress her in your mind. That's where objectification and lust is. But just simple attraction, guys, it's normal. And for me, a lot of my struggle was just with attraction. Probably 50-60% of my willpower, my fighting, if I just known that I can find her attractive, it's okay, it's normal, it's healthy to find people attractive. If I'd known that, it could have saved me a lot of struggle. Point 4, I couldn't stop porn because of the shame loop. I'd watch porn, I'd find someone attractive, and I thought that was bad, and I would think, oh, I'm such a bad person. I'm so bad, I feel so ashamed, and that would make me feel even worse, and I'd go back again. And this loop would just keep going over and over because of the shame loop. We need to realize that our actions are not our identity. We can do something, but does not define who we are. We are humans, we're beautiful, we're worthy of love and care, self-love and self-care. And we just need to understand that. Point 5, I couldn't stop porn because I was addicted to dopamine. Dopamine is this natural, it's this neurotransmitter, this feel-good chemical in our brains, and it drives pleasure, it drives motivation, but we can become addicted to it if we get too much of it by watching porn, overstimulating ourselves with our phones, eating unhealthy food, and our body needs more and more to get that same urge. And maybe you've noticed that in your porn viewing history, that you start out just with bikini models, images, and it turns into videos and people having sex and these worse things. And when you try to stop, you get these withdrawal symptoms, anxiety, depression, and you feel like you need to go back, watch it again to get a relief, get another hit. And number 6 is that you're going at this alone. For years and years, I never told anyone about my addiction. I was ashamed of it, and I didn't want anyone else to know. It wasn't until I started telling people that guilt, that pain, the shame just slowly started to dissipate. And look, if you're not up to that step yet, you don't have to tell anyone today, but just write down your story, why you go to porn, what you're trying to numb, and just look at it from a curious angle. Why do I do this? Just write it out. And you can read it to yourself out loud if you want to. It'll just help. Getting it out, even to just yourself, is an important step. So guys, I hope those things helped you. These things didn't come to me overnight. They were lessons I had to learn over a long period of time, over a period of months. And I hope these have helped you. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover. If you have any questions, any comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.